Dear ladies and gentlemen, the 125th day of the Russian invasion and the ninth year of the Russian war in Ukraine, I'm Andrii Shevchenko, and on behalf of Ukraine Media Center team, I welcome you all the journalists who keep telling the world about our fight for freedom. And here is our next guest. This is Andrii Hodyk, First Deputy Head of Lviv Oblast Military Administration. Mr. Hodyk, besides other things, is responsible for cooperation with different security and defense forces working in the region. So, Andrei, you're welcome to take the floor. We are through with 4 months of active hostilities. What are your conclusions over this period? Welcome to everyone. Well, first of all, let me congratulate all of us on the day of the Constitution, on the birthday of our main document, which enshrines the fundamental principles, rights, and freedoms that our state and our soldiers are fighting for. As far as the security situation in Lviv region is concerned, over these 4 months, it should be noted that the anti-sabotage also facility protection measures started before the 24th of February, starting with the beginning of this year. In particular, I would like to point out the work of our law enforcement bloc in the first days of the full-scale Russian invasion, because it was actually by the end of the 24th of February that we managed to ensure this important controlling function in Lviv region through checkpoints, through curfew, through intense search of vehicles and citizens. As far as interaction of Lviv Regional Military Administration with law enforcement agencies is concerned, we could split this work into several blocks. In particular, if we take the security service of Ukraine, we've got clear coordination. We focused mainly on anti-sabotage and anti-reconnaissance measures. In particular, starting over the period from the 24th of February till now, we have conducted inspection of about 8,000 citizens, and about 340 of them were subject to additional intense search and inspection. We have launched 40 criminal proceedings, and 16 people have been given a suspicion of the crime against national security. 9 of them have got a suspicion concerning state treason. As far as interaction with the public sector, public order enforcement agencies. Over this period, more than 1,000 law enforcement officers have been patrolling our streets and ensuring order. More than 400 patrol officers are having their service on a daily basis, and we also have territorial defense forces, National Guard forces, and volunteers. As an additional tool for ensuring public order and for performing our defense and security function, in April we launched the Vision project. This is the joint IT cluster and Lviv Regional Military Administration uh, and the National Police work. The goal of the project was to reinforce the analytical component of the National Police main office. As a result, the police got a tool for recognizing vehicles, and not just vehicles, by specific parts, and having just limited descriptions or limited parts. As a result, you can rather efficiently identify crimes. So this is the algorithm which allows you to identify what. This is the algorithm which allows you, using the CCTVs, choose the signs that were reported by the witnesses from the place where a crime was committed, like damages on the right wing of the vehicle. This is a sign which can be recognized by the software, and the software could bring the information from the overall databases, placing the venue when the vehicle was registered by the CCTVs. Also, it is important that this is a tool that has accelerated several times, hundreds of times, data processing. we've got millions of records, and from those millions of records, it can rather quickly find the vehicle from the specific CCTV which you need. As far as working with humanitarian aid is concerned and going abroad is concerned, I would again split this issue into two components. On the one hand, this is preventive function, in particular with the border guard service and the security service and the national police, because there is constant data exchange concerning the people and organization who are suspected of having committed a crime as far as illegal border crossing by military men or people bound to military service is concerned, as well as illegal bringing and use of humanitarian aid. You know that starting with the 24th of February this year, the investigative office of the National Police has registered and has making pretrial investigation in 27 criminal proceedings, and 19 of these are criminal proceedings related to Part 3 of Article 201, which is illegal process from humanitarian aid. 19 proceedings, and in 3 of them, suspects have already been identified, suspicions have been given to them, and most in the recent future, we will have the investigations. Uh, this also goes with embezzlement and other things like that. We do this because we want the humanitarian aid to reach the final beneficiaries and not to be staying in the pockets and in the hands of people who do some criminal actions and who take some actions claiming that they are delivering humanitarian aid. Also, let me point out the work and the coordination with the military men from the Command West, Zahid, in particular the air defense forces, and you know that we have got 24 missiles downed in the territorial Lviv region, 11 drones, and the latest missile was downed already in June. So, taking into account the resource which they had in their hands, they are really doing great. We are cooperating with them in different directions, starting with financing of repair works to repair air defense installations, and also we finance technical re-equipment of the analytical center, and it is also our initiative to get this application translated or something is there flying, which helps our defenders to work with the threatening missiles or facilities. If you sum up the situation in Lviv region, to what extent is it safe and controlled? If somebody asks you a thing like that, because of your knowledge and expertise, so is Lviv region a safe place? Well, Lviv region and the security situation in Lviv region is controlled, fully controlled, but I would like to say that in the current conditions, because of the great threats of missile strikes, there is not a single place in Ukraine that is 100% safe. Our task is to ensure the work of our law enforcement, of our defenders, for them to be able to identify and prevent any criminal acts or acts of aggression in relation to the villains and in relation to infrastructural facilities. So everything is under control, and I hope that the situation will remain the same. If there are questions in the room, please let me know. And I would like to go over to the issue of IDPs. About a month ago, the head of the Regional Military Administration presented the results of the sociological survey here in the region, and the results of the survey showed rather impressive figures. More than 90% of IDPs staying here have pointed out that they feel that the attitude to them here is very good. 35% have mentioned that they are looking for jobs here or will consider looking for a job in this region. How has the region changed in this respect? Well, as far as treatment of IDPs is concerned, that is really a very good and positive characteristic of all the Ukrainian people. We know how to get united and how to support each other, which is extremely important, in particular for the people who have seen all those brutalities and awful things of the Russian aggression and the crimes they have committed. If we have a look at the situation starting with the beginning of March, It was back in the first half of March that the petitions made to the employment centers submitted by IDPs, the number of those petitions was about zero. But at the end of May, we can see that people have got more active, and employment centers are working rather hard in terms of finding jobs for people. This could illustrate different things because this is rather individual. On the one hand, we can see that IDPs are leaving for the places and for the regions from which they have come if the hostilities are over there, because people are really willing to go back to their small motherland, so to say. But on the other hand, our task, as that of the authorities, is not just to offer jobs, but to create comfortable conditions of living for short term, mid term, or long term for those people. And this is a comprehensive issue, including jobs, including social minimums that we should provide as the authorities. In the news, we now hear that now we are faced with the higher risk of the full-scale war of Belarus, involvement of Belarus in the war. Um, what would it mean for Lviv region? Do you work with this new or higher threat coming from Belarus? Well, to tell the truth, starting with the 24th of February and up till now, the threat of invasion or involvement of Belarus troops in the war has always been there. And our soldiers are getting ready for any possible actions of aggression from Belarus. And our tasks are rather simple, but they require tedious work. First of all, we need to have good coordination between the law enforcement agencies, between our military men, to coordinate and to prepare possible plans as far as repelling the aggression of Belarus is concerned. On the other hand, we need to establish a good relationship with Volyn region to have coordinated actions in case such actions take place. And the third block is our preparation via construction of additional fortifications and engineering facilities. So, if we speak about such threats and try to specify them, what shall be we ready for? Missile strikes, aircraft strikes, or combat actions on the ground? Well, we are ready for everything, and our task is to be ready for everything. But first of all, we would then expect missile and aircraft strikes, primarily from the northern direction. What would it mean for the region if the trucks and vehicles increase in terms of their traffic, their crossing of the border? The situation will probably remain the same for many years. What does it mean for the region? Well, on the one hand, this stands for some challenges, both for logistics in the region and for the overall infrastructure, because any infrastructure, be it road or railway infrastructure, that they are always designed with a view to a certain load. On the other hand, that is an opportunity for the region to become one of the key transportation hubs. And probably that will give a chance to involve additional investment into the logistic infrastructure, and it would mean other jobs. Both a challenge and an opportunity. What would you tell the residents of the region and the whole world today on the day of on the constitution of Ukraine with a view to those 4 months of war? We will definitely win, and we will definitely defend everything that is enshrined in our constitution. We will not let anyone encroach on the truth that have been obtained by us and carved in the Constitution at such a high price. On the other hand, I would ask everyone to be cautious and not to ignore air alarms. If we have a look at the recent days and the missile strikes that hit and purposefully hit not um, military objects, Russia has changed the tactics, it has changed the type of missiles. So they are using X-22 missiles, which have a higher speed the speed is from 2,600 kilometers an hour or even more, and this makes our air defense forces' job much more difficult. What is worse, the weight of this shell is much larger than caliber missile, and according to the data of different experts, the target may not be hit. There may be an error of about 40%. Therefore, you can see residential quarters hit, civilians hit, and if you're not staying close to the military facility, this doesn't mean that you are guaranteed against any missile strikes. So whenever there comes the alarm signal, please find a safe haven and be waiting for the notification signals. As far as security situation is concerned, um, be vigilant, be cautious. Maybe it all it all depends on your vigilance, whether with the special with the our security forces will manage to fight with the Russian security services. Andrii Hodyk, first deputy head of Lviv Regional Military Administration. Our next briefing will be at 2 o'clock, and we will have Natalia Halibarenko, the head of Ukraine's mission to NATO, and we will be following the situation in Kremenchuk with the barbaric missile strike of the train and entertainment center.